Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Kindness Rising, your morning dose of humanity, hope, and heart. I'm Matthew Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and I'm here brought to you by the Business Athletes Performance Lab as the warm-up for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. I'm here every weekday at 7:30 a.m., and I'm so glad you decided to join me. We're learning and growing every day. If you've actually just tuning in for the first time, I hope maybe you'll go back to some of our old episodes. I've only been here, this is episode 4, but even since Monday, I've learned and grown a ton. We're adding new tools every day and new exciting things. So please go back and watch those old episodes, interact in the comments, and let's have some fun. I'm going to try some new things today too. One is I'm trying to go off script a little more. I got some feedback. People are like, why don't you just talk it? Why aren't you just talking about yourself and telling some stories? I had an amazing meeting yesterday with a woman named Christina Flynn. Those of you who've been around for a while, you may recognize her name and know her from her time and work with Keith on Mornings in the Lab. She really encouraged me to lean into my true self and talk more about myself and my stories as they relate to our topics. I'm going to do a little bit of that today. I do like to get some research in, so I want to have some credibility for the stuff we're talking about, because kindness isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings, although those are great. There really is science about this, and we're going to talk even more about that. So let's jump right into some things. Our topic today is Beyond Tolerance, celebrating the gifts of diversity and human differences. And tolerance isn't just about putting up with people, right? It's not just grinning and bearing our differences. It's actually a powerful tool. It's a tool that helps us bring our best selves to our lives. It helps us to grow our businesses. They're gifts to unwrap, treasures to find. Those differences are the things that make the world a much better place. And I'm so excited to talk to you about them today. But first, I want to talk a little bit about me and about my differences. I sit here as a white male. I'm educated. I own my own home. I'm married. I'm heterosexual. I'm cisgender. All the things that put me right in the center of what would be considered the typical power structure. And I recognize that. And the awareness of that makes it all the more important that I understand tolerance and diversity. But guess what? All those things are true about me. I am in that center of that power structure, but I have differences too. One of them is mental health. I've talked about this on other episodes. I've experienced depression and anxiety. That's part of my differences that I bring. I'm the parent of twins. Twins add a whole nother element to parenting, right? And a whole different level of stress, especially when they're really little. That's a huge difference. I grew up in a house that was, my father was Jewish and my mother's Catholic. Those, multiple beliefs in the household, that added differences for me. So while I might be sitting here looking like, the guys, the same people you see that are in those power structures, I do have differences. And I bring those every day to what I do, bringing it to this show, bringing it to all my work, my interactions, my parenting, my life, my relationship. And what's really important for me is that as we talk more about tolerance, that I'm talking about awareness of it, right? I'm aware of where I sit in that power circle, and I'm aware of the other things that are going on around me. I spent time in my early days in inner city Washington, D.C., and obviously that brings a whole nother perspective of racial differences, of cultural differences. That really was an eye-opening experience for me, because I grew up in a small town, a lot of people who looked and acted the same way I did. I'm going to talk a little bit about that further when we get into our kindness spotlight too, because one of my neighbors from growing up was our nominee. So that's my setup. That's my personal perspective on all of this. I bring awareness of diversity, of inclusion, of understanding that those cultural differences, those racial differences, those neurodivergency differences are what make this world beautiful. and what make my life fuller and richer. And I hope that you will too. So we're going to talk a little bit. Like I said, I do like to bring some research into all of this, because it's really important that we understand the context behind diversity, behind tolerance, and inclusion, as well as all the topics we talk about here on Kindness Rising. I'm going to cut the music and get right into it. All right. So here's some of the research around tolerance, around diversity, and culture. These come from academic institutions, names you probably recognize, like the Columbia Business School, that found that diverse teams in business consistently outperform those that are more homogenous, and all the people on the team are the same. And it's a really powerful tool, and it's not they're they're powerful despite their differences. They're powerful because of that. So that's a really, really important thing. Having a group of people with different perspectives allows us to challenge our assumptions. It sparks innovation because these new ideas get into the mix. And I know I've worked on both types of teams. I worked on teams with all people sitting around the table that look and act just like me. I've worked on teams of people from all different aspects of the world that brought all their tools. And I try, when I meet with people and get together, whether it's for business or in personal life, to understand those differences. It's really important, and that it's a key differentiator, and I have some proof of that here too. Also, there's neuroscience behind some of this, right? Um, our capacity for inclusion, understanding diversity, understanding different perspectives, it isn't fixed. It's trainable. We can spend time thinking about it. It all starts with awareness. And actually, there's things that we can do through mindfulness and meditation, which is not really part of this show that we talk about, although I'll be glad to. Um, it really makes a huge difference. As a matter of fact, researchers at UC Davis found that 6 weeks of intentional, mindful meditation around culture and difference can actually rewire our brains to understand and to bring the benefits of having diversity into our lives. And then there's Harvard. I talked about Harvard a lot. I mean, we know they're a major academic institution, but they found that companies with above average diversity scores are 70% more likely to capture new markets and to grow. Why is that? Because understanding differences means we get to serve everyone, right? There's huge, from a business perspective, there's huge markets out there outside of who we are in our culture. And understanding that means that inclusion isn't just morally right, it's actually strategically smart and brilliant. So that's I think an amazing stat, and something to think about if you're out there and you're a business leader. So those are a couple of highlights of research. I don't want to get too wonky on it, but the point is that tolerance, inclusion, diversity, those things that maybe are under attack a little bit in our world right now, they're not about just putting up with people, right? They are about really opening our hearts and our minds to different perspectives and understanding the benefit that we all get from having those different perspectives. So today we're going to celebrate human difference. We're going to talk about some stories of human difference, of the benefits that it's had for businesses, for nonprofits and charities. I want us to think about things a little bit differently, right? So when we approach someone who might be neurodivergent, we're going to talk about autism a little later, right? Those people aren't something that we just tolerate. They represent the ability to problem solve differently, right? So we lean into those things and we listen to them. Cultural diversity, that's just new perspectives on our challenges. We want again, just opening our hearts, opening our minds to that. Physical differences, those teach us how to navigate differently in the world, right? People who are maybe in wheelchairs or might have trouble with mobility. We want to be open to that and thinking about the way that those people might help us figure out how to navigate differently in the world. So the point is, and I don't want to be too preachy or harping on it, but every difference really is a gift, right? It's an opportunity to see things a little bit differently in the world, to really embrace all of what this world has to offer, to learn and to grow ourselves. So today we're going to see how real organizations and real communities actually put some of that stuff to use. We're going to spotlight proof that when we move beyond tolerance, when we move towards really embracing our differences, we can create transformation. So we're going to find out that this is not just the smart thing to do or the kind thing to do, it's actually the smart thing to do. And we're going to rise together through this. It's going to be amazing. Welcome again to Kindness Rising. I want to move into our community spotlight, our kindness spotlight, where we talk about organizations that are out there in the world doing new things, bringing good work for good people, making our communities stronger and brighter, one kindness act at a time. Today's story, like some of the other ones I've talked about, actually has a personal connection. I've reached out to friends and family and said, "Who do you want to spotlight? How can we bring light into some of these things that are happening in our world that are that's just the amazing work?" And I've had some great responses. So today's comes from a neighbor, an old friend, an old neighbor. We weren't really tight, this family, but we knew the families. Grew up on the west side of Binghamton. It was a little bit like Mayberry in the times that I grew up. We all went in and out of each other's homes. Families knew each other, maybe a little too much about each other sometimes. But what it was a real community. And some of the people that I had grown up with, maybe lost touch with, but are reconnecting now, are doing some amazing work out there. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about an organization that was nominated by Lori Van Atta Newman. Lori, again, was a neighbor of mine on the West Side. We didn't really interact a lot, but when I started reading about what Lori's doing, I just had to bring this. Lori's really become a passionate advocate for the autism community, and I really want to talk about it on this show. She works with an organization called Advocates for Autism Inc., and it's not just another nonprofit. There's a lot of differences in the way this organization operates. It's a grassroots movement that's really built around the experiences of another amazing woman named Sally Coletti. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna show you her photo here. And they've been around for 13 years in our community, really changing lives. And Sally was the starter of this. She's been doing work with the autism community for over 30 years, and she started this with a mission and a kind of a mantra, if you will, about this. And I love these words. Um, I think it's important for every one of us to remember that we want to change the world, not the person. Each person brings their own unique gifts, and the people who are in the autism, neurodivergency, and developmental disability community are just as important as anyone else. So, anytime someone tries to make people fit into little boxes, I think it's really important to think about changing the world and not the person. And I love that idea that Sally brought. So again, today we're going to spotlight Advocates for Autism. They're a great organization. Their mission is super clear. They provide social, community, education, civic opportunities for individuals and their families. It's really a family-oriented organization for people with autism and other developmental disabilities. Sally's brought 30 years of experience for life in supporting families that have been affected by autism, and she's building a community where differences are really celebrated, not tolerated. So their main focus is really in creating social opportunities and learning opportunities for people in this community. They have a program called Be a Friend, Make a Friend, which is really cool. The idea is that people in this community can sometimes feel isolated. The families feel isolated as they're trying to care for their loved one and provide meaningful experiences for those people. And Sally helps to break down those barriers that the advocates for autism through these programs. They're actually like lifelines for these families. Some of them, and if you know anybody, if you've been involved in this as well, people with these types of developmental disabilities can really feel alone, and so Sally brings them together. The other really cool thing about this organization is they're completely volunteer run. Every single dollar that gets donated to the organization goes directly to impacting the individuals. There's no overhead. They don't pay salaries. There's no buildings to upkeep. It's all kind of a virtual organization and a network of collaboration, and it's really grassroots. Another program that they have is called the Spectrum Sweets for Snacks, baked for us by us. It's not just about raising funds, it's about providing meaningful volunteer opportunities, work for individuals with, again, autism and developmental disabilities to learn skills, to be productive and contribute to their community. It's really dignifying for them, and it's beautiful and meaningful. So it's just a wonderful situation. They also provide real services that break down the systemic barriers for people who have autism and developmental disabilities. They're focused on planning and navigation services, helping people to get through the cultural, or excuse me, the governmental bureaucracies, the financial, the legal, the healthcare challenges that come with all of this. Sally herself has written over 300 plans, 300 families that have been impacted directly by her work. They're called self-determination programs with New York State. There's a bureaucracy and paperwork that has to be done through all this, and Sally's helping those families navigate almost 300, or not almost 300, at least 300. So again, they're about creating systemic change. They're grassroots. They're nonprofit. Every dollar donated goes directly into helping the organization, and they represent something that we believe in here on our show, and I believe should be part of our world, and that recognizing and respecting human differences is the key to all of us living better lives. So I hope you'll get out and support this organization. Visit their website, advocatesforautism.org. They're all over Facebook. If you're in Binghamton yourself and in the surrounding area, reach out to Sally, help her volunteer, show up to the social events, and I think you'll find that they really are changing the world, not the person. So please lean into Advocates for Autism. Help the world become a better place, because we're not just accepting differences, we're celebrating them, and that's exactly what Advocates for Autism does. It's really going to be one of our greatest strengths. So they're out there showing the world that it's better to change the world than change the person, and create a world where everyone belongs. And that's exactly what we do here on Kindness Rising. The mission is aligned. So please support Advocates for Autism. And that's today's Kindness Spotlight. So next we'll move into some of our news. I'd like to bring in again, some business perspective. That's what we do here on the show. It's actually, I did some research as I was developing the show. A lot of shows, there are other shows about kindness. I think ours is going to be the best. It is the best, even with flies flying around in my face. But I think this is going to be the best show. And why is that? Most shows either focus on that personal, really warm feelings, which are amazing. Again, highlighting things that people are doing out there in the world that are kind. Others are very focused on business and leadership and the impacts of that. My intent here and our mission is to bring both of those things together to provide value, for personal value, but also for business and industry. So that's our unique differentiator here on Kindness Rising. And so I'm going to get into a little bit more about business. I hope you'll stick around for it, and maybe we can all learn some lessons from some businesses that are doing some really cool things around diversity, tolerance, and inclusion. We're going to spotlight some organizations here in North America. I do intend for this program to be global, but I'm really focused right now on North America, where most of our audience is. And we're going to find out again that it's not just the right thing to do; it's a smart thing to do for businesses. So here's some stories about about business. Let's start with some ground again research. It's really important to show that this is really important stuff, credible stuff out there. This is from the NYU, New York University Law School, who researched 2,500 businesses across the United States. And what they found was 83% of C-suite leaders and 88% of legal leaders believe that maintaining or expanding diversity, equity, and inclusion programs is essential to mitigating legal risk for the organization. 77% of executives in this research said their programs are positively correlated with improved financial performance in their organization, and 81% said that actually bolsters, increases customer loyalty, and those are essential to growing our businesses. But here's some specific stories around some of that research. Delta Airlines, they're they're Atlanta's largest employer, one of our major cities here in the U.S. In 2025, a lot of the companies are retreating from their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, but Delta continues to lean into it. Their CEO really understands this fundamental idea that their key differentiator as a major airline isn't their planes, it isn't their equipment, it's not their routes, how they get people to and from places, it's their people. uh, Obviously, airline travel is a huge people-oriented business, so that they focus on acquiring and retaining talent from diverse populations, from diverse cultures, and that helps to grow their business. And they're building a competitive advantage over it, right? It's an advantage that can't be replicated unless others lean into the same thing. Then there's Costco, another huge retail giant. We don't have one here in Binghamton. We have BJ's and Sam's Club. Costco, I'm sure a lot of you out there know what Costco is. But they continue to focus on diversity, inclusion, and corporate responsibility. They see not investigating, investing in their diverse employees as a strength, not a burden. Um, they consistently rank amongst the best places to work in America. They understand that respecting human differences creates better outcomes for everyone, including their business. Here's a little bit more research. The World Economic Forum, they show that companies with above average diversity score drive 45% of their average revenue from product innovation. Talked about it a little bit before, having all those different perspectives, bringing in people with different viewpoints in life, different experiences in life. It brings that element of innovation. And that's really going to be a differentiator in our world. Our world is moving so fast with all the technology, but one way we can differentiate our businesses really is through leaning into this idea of diversity. I'm doing a time check because I'm getting a little wordy here, but and that's part of what I'm doing. I'm leaning into doing things a little differently today. So we know that kindness pays. Um, there are leaders that are standing up and saying, we believe in the power of human connection. We believe that kindness and inclusion makes us stronger. They're moral choices, but they're also business choices. And that message has become clear. Companies that embrace diversity and inclusion and not just talk about it as programs and build programs so that they can have a website around it, but truly embrace this idea, they're going to have a competitive advantage in the future. So here's my challenge to any leaders that are out there listening. Don't just tolerate differences. Don't just develop a website that says you're diverse, included, and inclusive. Really lean into it. Make sure that your teams have that balance of diversity. Make sure you're investing in people of different cultures and of different viewpoints. It's going to make your team stronger. They're showing us the way, these organizations that are doing, and now it's up to us to really follow their example. So that's the kindness news. Last, we're going to get into or actually not last, second to last, we're going to get into our kindness call. This is where I put on my glasses and check into the comments. Yesterday, we had our kindness call challenge for the contagion test. I asked you to go out there and do something and make sure that you are watching some of the other things that are happening in the world. Wow, there's lots of activity here in the comments, particularly on the vertical. We know that people are watching more and more of our shows from from their telephones. It's the way of the world. So Be Driven, thanks. Some of the names you might recognize. Bernard, I did not know that about your daughter. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure that you are giving her all the love and support. He's saying that his daughter has autism. Uh, so that's a really good thing. Thank you so much, Bernard. And Lady Drew, of course, is in there again today, supporting all the other comments that are out there. Lady Drew and Be Driven, looks like you guys are creating a nice relationship in the comments, so I appreciate it. So thanks everybody for supporting that in the comments. I'd really love for these things that we're doing, these challenges that are out there that I'm putting out to you guys, if you'd comment on them, right, in the thing. So that's what I really want. I want you guys to take some of these things, think about them. I'm sure you're out there doing them, but bring your comments to the community. It's going to make all of us stronger. It's amazing. So let's move into today's challenge to keep things rolling along. We did the contagion test yesterday. And I really appreciate it. Today, I want to challenge you for the recognition revolution. Here's your mission, if you choose to accept it. That old chestnut. Today, I want you to intentionally recognize and celebrate a human difference. I know you're out there doing it, but you're going to see it in the world. I hope this brings awareness. Celebrate it if you encounter it. Could be someone that thinks differently about things. It could be somebody with a physical challenge. Could be someone that you identify as having some neurodivergent struggles or a racial difference. Whatever that difference is, don't just tolerate it. Celebrate it. Talk to somebody about it. Recognize it. Be cool about it. But please, just be out there looking for that. Maybe it's a colleague who approaches a problem different. Tell them you see it, how they're doing that differently, and recognizing that they're bringing some new perspective to the world. Maybe it's somebody with a different cultural background again, or a tradition. Instead of dismissing what you don't understand, ask. Be curious. Be open to these new things. It may just light something up in you too. So I hope you'll do that. I think it'll help us all to embrace the beautiful diversity of the human experience. And again, share your messages here with us. So we're running low on time. So I gave you your challenge. We talked about a lot of things today. The world is waiting for your kindness through this idea of tolerance and diversity. So please get back into it. I really hope that it'll help us. So that's it. That's the show for today. That's our kindness thread. Our kindness thread again is about tolerance. It's about respecting differences. We started with a little bit of my personal story. We got into the research from all those major academic universities, and we learned about autism from advocates for autism. They're out there changing the world, not the person. And I hope you all will do the same. I do like to conclude with a little video or something. This one is awesome, I think, because what it shows us is we all have a child in us, and when we were children, our worldview was so different than what we bring as adults. So I'm going to take a second here and try to see if I got better at showing these videos, and we're going to get at it. This comes to us from overseas, from the UK, cute little kids with accents. And I think it's going to be really mind-opening and hopefully heartwarming for you.
What makes you two different from each other?
I used to not like letters, but now I like letters. I do not like letters at all. Lucy loves tomato sauce, and I do like it, but I don't love it as much as Lucy. Don't have the same. Our office is down the hill, and I live up the hill. No, I have smaller toes than Artie. Addy, I like Scrooge and chips and I like sushi. And they're different. She never stops talking. You got different hair? He listen, doesn't have squirrels in the roof. We have squirrels in the roof, so we can't watch television that much because it's biting all the wires. Both. I'm good at gymnastics and Kaylee May is good at swimming. I'm not good at dancing. I am. You're defender and I'm defender. No, I'm not anymore. I used to be, now I'm not. No, we're not. What? Good at counting and I'm good at hiding. And Matthew's good at better Tig. And Matthew's good at staying in den. Do you have anything else to say? No.
So I hope that cute little video shows us that maybe we can find the child in us and see that maybe it's important to recognize our differences, but our differences aren't all about cultural differences and neurodivergent differences. Everybody brings something different to the table, and the more we tolerate and are aware of those differences, the stronger we all will be. So that's today's show. Tomorrow we're going to shift our focus a little bit. We're going to shift our focus and we're going to get into gratitude. That's going to be the topic for tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to talking about my experiences with gratitude and how it's impacted me, and talking again about some of the research, spotlighting another organization that's focused on gratitude. So thank you for joining me today on Kindness Rising. It's been an amazing experience for me. I hope it's been helpful and valuable to you. Don't forget to stay tuned right now for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, and join me every day here, 7:30 a.m. weekdays, Kindness Rising on YouTube. Come out and follow us on the social media platforms. And most importantly, stay uncommon and stay kind.